everybody. It's great to see you. Welcome to this week's episode of From Boxes to Butterflies. And be this is going to be a fun conversation because oftentimes some of those that are really fun are the ones where it's that initial chat with somebody where I haven't talked with them before and I can feel the energy going into the show. I know it's going to go all over the place. And isn't that really what it's all about? I mean, that's what it means to move beyond boxes is you go wherever it takes you. Um, I want to go over a couple of things before we get started. We have now in the writing process is this amazing book, Beyond Boundaries, Thriving in Life's Gray Zone. This book is going to be, for many, it's going to be like a manual for how to thrive in those gray zones of life. There's 25 amazing authors here. Each is going to tell their story, what it's like to thrive in the gray zone. And for many who are going to read this book, this will become a manual of how to thrive, how to make life happen. And it's going to be fun as well. You're going to find out from each author kind of what they view as the gray zone versus what's not the gray zone. Remember, we're all different. So how I view the gray zone is going to be different than how CJ views the gray zone, will be different than Willie, Jackie, Danielle, my guest today. It's all going to be unique. And they're gonna speak to readers from the heart because each one of these authors is very heart-centered. I also want to bring up how we have a sister who can use some help right now. I don't want to go into all the details, so if you have questions, please feel free to DM Danielle for any questions. There was a health scare in her family, and in this case, it's a meals focus help, because for what's going on in her family, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to meet their needs. And when we have a community, being able to stand up and help somebody however we can is a blessing, even if it's just checking in and saying, hi, what can I do? Here's a program where we can provide love in a way that helps a family that needs it right now. That's how it is. Danielle is an amazing sister from the Sacramento area. She's created a business where she's looking to be your HR. I mean, she knows this stuff. And she is so full of love and compassion. I always love talking with her. It's always a pick-me-up for me. And so I'm sending love and prayers and ask that if you can pray and share and just whatever you can do, how you can help. She's a very appreciative, loving person, and I don't like to see anybody that's hurting. So anything you could do would be beautiful. And then I'm going to show, I mean, you already know I'm an author. So here are 4 of my more recent books that I'm in, including that anthology that I talked about a little bit earlier. So you can see that in the bottom left corner. These are all books that I've been working on. And when I talk about moving from boxes to butterflies, every one of these is an example, is a story of what that really means. My Armor of God series, the 2 books right now, create one story of what it's like for somebody who's been told who and what they are all their life, what they're supposed to do. They're not accepted in their family, and they end up going on a quest. Even though the main character is a prince who is the eldest, he should be the heir. It's his younger brother who's more like his dad that's the heir. So he goes on this quest to find the armor of God, but it turns into a quest to find himself so that he can move beyond boxes and shine as the amazing person he is. The other book, Faith of the Butterfly, just came out this year. That one's traditionally published by Urano Publishing. I call it my reinvention memoir. So it's really what I've done, what happened between Christmas of 19 to January of 22. This was my own reinvention. How I did it, what happened, the amazing people who came along beside me on this journey. And again, it's moving from boxes to butterflies. It's moving beyond boxes to be one's authentic self. And now, without further ado, it's time for me to bring up somebody who is an author in Beyond Boundaries. Let me introduce you to Jenny. Hey, Jenny.
Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited and happy to be here. I love that you said you're reinvented because that's something that I do consciously every single day. Right. And so you'll see even in the chat, some of the sisters are like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what I'm going to look like today. And that's part of that reinvention. So I love it. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for sharing your space and your story and just being you. I think it's beautiful and I'm so appreciative. So thank you.
Well, and I was one of those that was wondering what you were going to come in like, because I saw you last week with CJ, and then I saw some of those photos being floated around yesterday and going, okay, I'll be honest, it's like, please don't come as Halloween.
Yeah, no, I've never come as Halloween. Not unless it was
But the
specifically
makeup that you
discussed.
do, it's just like it was to see that. I'm looking at it going, okay, I have no idea how I could ever even think about trying to pull that off. Whereas you and CJ, the pictures that you two showed it's just amazing what you're able to do.
Mm,
It blew me away.
thank you so much. I love it. And that one only took me about 4 hours. I have some that take 6, 7, 8 hours, days even. So yeah, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it a lot. So that's part of my play and relaxation is just being able to create things. So yeah. But I was doing those for specific reasons. Generally I don't do the Halloween things, like you said. Generally, I'm on the more fairy tale side of things and
Right.
fantasy. Yeah,
Well,
sci-fi.
I kind of got that impression just from the photo that you gave me for the show.
Yeah. Yes. So.
But what I
Okay.
want to do now is have you talk a little bit about yourself, where you came from, what you're doing, and let everybody get a chance to know who Jenny is.
Yeah. Well, my name is Jenny. It's not Jennifer or, Virginia or any other name. It's Jenny. And I usually say that because even growing up in like second to seventh grade, there were 7 Jennies, and really they were all Jennifers. And so I was always like, and then so we would have to go by our first and last initials, and I always thought it was so unfair, right? So I'm one of those people that even from a very young age in life, very much so about noticing and having a voice about injustices and things like that. I am 45. I am the mother of a single son, and I just found out over the weekend that there might be an addition to the family, so we're super excited about that. And I live in North Texas, about an hour north of Dallas. And growing up, I come from a broken home, as they would say. So I lived in Texas, and then I lived in Oregon, and that's something that it's top 5, one of the things that I am most grateful for in my life, because the cultural difference between the 2 spaces, I would not be who I was had I not had the ability and opportunity to be in different spaces. And really, my confidence, my ability to use my voice and all of those things really come from that space and from that place. And I let's see. So now what I'm doing, and this is a big jump, but I was a firefighter paramedic for 15 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I retired. I had some health issues come in the way, and not physically able to do the job anymore, but absolutely loved it and adored it so much. I've been very fortunate. I think that I feel like I've never had a job that I hated really. And if I did, I would leave it as soon as I started hating it, right? Like I would just leave and go find another job. Like, why would I, But the 15 years there, it flew by so fast because it was a job of service, I think, really mostly. And I just absolutely adored it. There was not a single day that I ever didn't want to be there. When I did have to retire, that was a big deal for me. And so you learn. You had said about living in the gray, and to me, being in the gray is that place of integration between those phases when you are rebuilding yourself, right? It's the place of chrysalis. It's the place of observation, where you're able to just kind of stop and pause and be in that place to decide what path it is that you want to move forward from. And it's the place of rebirth, for sure, transformation and rebirth, I think. So I think, like everyone, I've been there a lot through a lot of different, situations in life. And ultimately, it's led me to where I am now, which is being a branding coach for entrepreneurs. So, and part of my identification and being able to identify and build those new identities by conscious choice is kind of what has helped me be able to land in branding, because it's all about identity.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It- that's the whole thing. The brand is, you think of any brand you want, and you're going to have an identity of something. I mean, and not just the big ones, not just the Apple and Coke, and
Right.
but even the mom and pop stores. There's something about it that you think of that name and you think of something.
Yes. Yeah. And there's Michelle Obama had written in a book, and in it says, basically, essentially, she says, you either realize consciously that you have a persona, people think or feel a certain way about you, and you can just let that unfold, let that script unfold, and let them create what that looks like. Or you can consciously know that that is true and really show up how it is that you want to, right? So that there's not a question of or inconsistency between who you are and who people think that you are,
Right.
which happens a lot. And again, consistency, right? That's like the biggest number 2 thing of branding is consistency. And there's a reason, because if you don't show up consistency, then that opinion, the story, right? And it's just natural. Our brains make stories. So if we're not telling the story, other people are creating one, right?
Right.
So yeah, I love
Well,
that.
and you talk consistency. That was something when I was with CJ and we went to Podfest, being able to meet a lot of people that we'd had that connection with through LinkedIn. One of the things that we were looking for is, was there a consistency between how they were, how they showed up on LinkedIn? Because we have this one idea as to what they're like, how they're going to be, and then real life. Are they
Yes.
going to be the same person, or is the whatever it is that's different, is it going to be a more than or a less than?
Right. Right. Yeah. And it's true, that when you it's the vulnerability and the authenticity. That's what comes through in the consistency and congruency, and then why it's so important, um, especially in leadership, and even just in community. It doesn't you be it's I'm talking self-leadership, right?
Right.
That it's so important to have that ability to just understand and be who you want to be and show up as that person, despite your circumstances, right? To find that space, and that's a gray place, right? That's a space of the gray when you're in this place that you don't feel well. And I'm not saying, of course, if you have the flu or something like that, right, that it's not okay to run to CVS in your pajamas. I'm not saying that, but do you want to be showing up on a Zoom, right, for a potential client or for any reason in your pajamas? Well, maybe you do. And if you do, that's okay. But if you're going to do it consistently and make sure that you're doing it from a place of authenticity. Or what's going to happen is you're going to build the brand around pajamas, right? Which would that be oh my God, how fun would a brand of pajamas be? You just show up in pajamas and you could show up in all different kinds and it would be so much fun, right? But if you do that and then all of a sudden you start showing up in a 3-piece suit because that's really what you feel most empowered in, like how big of a difference is that? It's huge. So,
Exactly.
and so who you've drawn in and who you've built community and relationship with is going to feel extremely alienated when you all of a sudden show up in that 3-piece suit, and then do that consistently, right? So it's a huge difference. And it matters. I think it matters. And it helps us to be able to, like I said, even when we don't feel so good, it helps us be able to still reach for the highest and best that we have for that day and just take
Oh,
it day by day, right? Um,
absolutely.
and then, you get in this place of complete consistency and authenticity. And no matter how you show up, you're showing up as you and people see and know that. I could show up in a completely different way. Like, let's just say I could show up in gray, straight up gray, no makeup on, none of the bells and whistles, and I'm still the same person. My energy is still the same. My delivery is still the same, right? Everything is still the same. So that's one thing I love about branding too, is that some people, I know that I did, right? I have a big personality and I don't like much of anything with limits or boxes, right? And I love the beyond boxes because one of the very first things that one of my first like keynote speeches that I ever wrote and did was about boxes, and it was about branding and feeling like you're in this box by the rules, but it's a non-existent box. It's all in how you, of course, see it, right? And so
Yep.
yeah, I love it. I love it.
The boxes never existed. And one of the things I mean, I even talk about this as we talk about even what you wear. Some of my posts, because I've seen this studies on it as well, where for women especially, going into the workplace, so many of them hide themselves in more male attire just to fit in.
Yeah.
But if your mental health isn't there, if that's not what makes you comfortable, if what makes you comfortable, I mean, as long as it still looks good, but
Right.
if what makes you comfortable is having the wigs, the makeup, the ruffles, being in flowy dresses instead of pantsuits.
Right.
He's like, that's what we need to do.
Yes.
And it's, I mean, this is something I learned. I've always known, it's just only recently that it really clicked of how important the wardrobe is
Mm-hmm.
to well-being. It's to our energy.
Yes.
Being able to wear that which we can create the best in is best for an organization too.
Absolutely. I, I've had it a lot, and I've met a lot of women in that space, where um they've learned and adapted as a protection, as a way to stay safe, as a way to be able to be accepted within the tribe, all of the things of how our subconscious and body works and all of those things. Um, and and so I always set out a challenge, that there's something that I know that you don't know. And it doesn't mean that you have to be showing up in a frilly dress or a makeup or a wig or any of those things. However, I can tell by the way that we dress absolutely 100% defines the way we're feeling about ourselves, the way we think about ourselves, and all of those things. So I can show up in black. I love black. I always joke that I'll stop wearing black when they make a darker color. Period. Like, I love black, but I can show up in black, and that I'm not in a place of depression or oppression or a lack of confidence, all of those things, because
Right.
energetically that comes out, and energetically it always comes through. So if you're always frumpy or comfortable in a way that is not accepting or extenuating anything of your femininity, you are in a place where there's something going on there, right? You are not showing up in your true authenticity. Um, because the truth of the matter is that because when you do show up in your authenticity, and it's not the same. It's just not the same. Or it's the lack of knowledge, not knowing how. There's so many women that I work with, and it's why I bring styling and I bring makeup into what I do, because it is, and we all know that in the inner depths of everything, that it's from the inside out, but you better be knowing that it is from the outside in, as far as rest of the world is concerned. And we don't have to base our feelings or our identity on what other people think, but especially if we're trying to sell and build a business, it, my friend, is from the outside in. Period. You have to be able to bring it from the outside in. You have to be attractive to your buyer, right? And
Right.
that happens. And so that's why I bring that in. And it's why I pursued, those certifications and the knowledge myself, was to be able to have that. So when you do work with me, it's a personal event, and we are working from the inside out, but we're also taking care of the outside. And it's the same with your brand. We're doing it from the inside out, but we're making the acknowledgement of that be from the outside in, so that people around can see that the change and the transformation is happening. And so that's one beautiful thing about rebranding, is that you do have a following, and they can see the transformation unfold before their very eyes. And that is super powerful when you're offering a community of transformation. And at the end of the day, we all are offering that, right?
Right.
Yes. More focused wearing certain clothes compared to others, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's important. It's an important part of how you're showing up and how you carry yourself and how you're perceived. And I love that that's something that you deem as important, Jackie, because it is.
Oh, it definitely is, and
Yeah.
it's something that I've noticed the whole time, being able to be more expressive, is just it's been interesting, because I've been to 3 events in the last couple of months, and CJ knows about them. The first 2, the introvert in me had, and the past experience of me had difficulties in those events, for different reasons.
Hmm.
Going to Orlando with CJ, it's like all the walls just dropped away at that point. And to walk around, because I kind of pay attention to it, to walk around Podfest, CJ, Sandra, and I were usually in dresses, or CJ was in pants the first day when she presented, but there weren't a lot of women who were wearing dresses. There were a lot of jeans, and so it was always interesting to see who dressed up, and to see their energy
Yeah.
compared to others.
Hmm.
Oftentimes, even if they were quiet, they had more energy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And you can see that, and you could feel that, right? And also see that. And at the end of the day, at the same time, it doesn't matter what you're presenting in, right? Because like you said, it isn't energetic, and you can feel that either
Yep.
way. But I love playing around in all the different areas. I love showing up absolutely 100% androgynously. But I also love the extreme of showing up extremely feminine in the dress or in the skirt, and, twirling around because it just feels so great to be twirling around and feel the fabric on your skin, um, and the different ways that it folds and falls, and it's beautiful, and it's to me one of the most beautiful outwardly signs of femininity, or even the feel of femininity for myself, is to feel the material, a nice light,
Right.
material as it falls back on your body and such. And I've always, even from a little child, loved the sound of heels, like clicking on the floor or on the concrete, or in the stores, of course, would be where I would hear it, because there were not, women in my family didn't wear heels. But I can remember being very small and just knowing, I guess I was probably, having a visceral experience, like goosebumps, and just too little to realize it. But because that's what happens for me now. And it's been a sound that I've always loved, and I've always associated with that strong femininity and powerful, right? Someone that's just really in their power. So and just from the sound, right? I just, that click,
Oh,
click, click, click. And sometimes, when you put a pair of heels on, which I can't wear them well, I can wear them when I'm in my chair because I'm not walking in them, but I couldn't walk in them anymore. But Just even to have them on, like I always tell, if it's a special occasion, we know and we go all out for a special occasion. And we put the heels on and we do break out the dress and we do put on the lipstick or, whatever it may be that we do differently. And the truth of the matter is that every day is the special occasion. Every day is the special occasion.
Mhm.
Stop waiting for the special occasion. If you have the heels and you love them, wear them. If you have leather and you love that, wear it. If like whatever it is in your life that you love, don't save it. Don't save it for something. Break out the china, break out the silver, break out the things that you're holding on there that you have up in the box, right? Whatever you have box, let's unpack the box because life is short. Every day is the gift.
Exactly. And there's so much to that because as you talked about that, I was thinking back to Sunday because when I went to church on Sunday, I had a dress and I had booties with a 3-inch, more of a chunky heel, but they had the sound.
Yes.
I mean, there was no way I was going to walk quietly in those. And it's like I didn't want to.
No.
I want that sound. And I remember as I was walking out, because the inside it's all carpeted, and then I step outside into the concrete, and it wasn't more than 2 or 3 steps, and this lady was going up steps. She kind of stops and looks at me because she hears it. It's like, yeah, so and just keep going.
Yes, I'm here. I'm taking up space. Hear me, see me, like me, or don't, right? Like, but I'm here to take up my space. And I love that. I love it so much. Jackie said every day is special. Celebrate how you want. Love this. Yeah, it
Exactly.
is. I used to always even when I was younger, I used to joke I was born with 3 things in my hand. One was a cigarette, one was a makeup brush, and the other was a pen, right? Because I've always loved to write. I've always loved makeup, and I took my first puffs off of cigarettes when I was 18 years old with my, or I'm sorry, 18 months old with my, I have a twin brother, and we were just, sitting in our little room. I can remember, and we were just puffing away, lighting them up. And I mean, it's just a miracle that we didn't catch the house on fire, right? And it was probably only 2 minutes, but 2 people, 2 little twins can get a lot done in 2 minutes time, right?
Oh,
My poor
yes.
mom. So, the people, it's not like I don't hear, I used to hear all the time, right? Like, well, why would you, what are you so dressed up for? Where are you going? Things like that. And it's, I grasped that one at a certain point that, is like off of not a meme because it was before memes existed, but maybe off of a bumper sticker or something. But it basically essentially said, the world is my runway. And that was such a huge pivotal moment for me because I'm like,
Yep.
that is it. Like, that's so true for me. And I just started saying that, like, no, look, the world is my runway, and I don't have to be doing anything special or be going anywhere or not to show up however it is that I want to, whether that's, which is always on fleek or on point, right? And I've done that since I was, really small. But that's because I think I recognize the feeling of the difference when we feel our best. When we feel our best, we feel more empowered. We
Yep.
are able to get more things done. We take less crap off of people, which is a beautiful thing. And now in my life, because I do mind my energy, I do recognize my energy, and I do things very consciously and mindfully. I don't have that. What I have instead are people that flock to me, that ask me, how do you do that? They want the help to be able to do that themselves, or they flock to me and say, I wish that I could do that. And I then therefore get to tell them that they can. Or
Mhm.
the older generations come to me, male or female, and they will say, good for you. I wish I'd had the courage to do that when I was younger, and I'll tell them, you can still do it, right? Like it's
Exactly.
you can still do it now, and you get to have that conversation and so it's something that like goes through the generations. There is no generation gap for me. I have people that come and take pictures with me, and they don't know me. I'm not famous or any of those things, but it's just simply because they know, for one, that I'm going to see them, hear them, and validate them, right? And they can feel that because it's true. And I think that they do it also just to be able to say, man, I just met this really amazing person that I think maybe I want to be like a little, and
Well,
that's
and
something that's really beautiful.
you, within all of that, you said something that's a couple of things that are really important, and one of that is how so many people will go, why are you fill in the blank? I mean, why do you dress that way? Why do you act like that way? Why do you
Right.
whatever? And those those kind of comments shut people down.
Hmm.
And it's finding that ability to stand in those moments and have whatever answer you want, even if it's simple as why not? This
Right.
is this is who I am.
Yes.
And essentially as you do that with people, kind of watch their boxes start to fall apart.
Hmm.
Because for some of them, they really want to, but they've probably heard the same thing, and so they just say the same thing until they hit that brick wall, as it were, that says, "Screw it.
Yeah.
This is this is what's going to happen."
Yes.
It's busting boxes. It's breaking down walls.
It absolutely is. And it's giving, when I give myself permission and when you give yourself permission to be yourself, you automatically are giving people around you, without even saying a word, the permission to do the same. And it's my goal to be as audacious as possible. And when I think that I've met the audacity that I could possibly meet, then my ceiling, just like in anything else, becomes my floor, and I find a new level of audacity. And I will continue to do that, because I want everybody to feel seen and heard and authenticated.
Mhm.
So that means everybody. So to do that, my personal umbrella and my personal brand, it's got to be wide. It's got to be tall. It's got to be wide. It's got to be really huge to do that. And so I embrace that challenge, that, okay, I'm going to be sure that everybody feels that in my presence. And it is an energy. But when your energy is big, you do wrap that around you physically in a big way. And even if that's just the color that you wear, your color of your sweater today, right? It's a beautiful, rich crimson. It says that you're passionate. It does say that it's in a quieter way. It says, that it's warm, it's nutrition, it's nourishment. It's that you just want to wrap up, and you just know that if we were in person and if you were to wrap me up in a hug, that it would be one of those hugs that I would squeeze extra at the end because I wanted just one more second of that embrace because it's such a warm, loving embrace and so nutrient. That's, and
Yeah. Well, it's I'm getting used to a lot of things, and that's actually some of it. But I've always known the things that I like. It's what calls me,
Mhm.
and even today, it's like, yeah, I know if I were smart enough to lay things out the night before, sure, it could be a little bit easier, but it really depends on how I'm feeling in the morning. And to be able to go, well, I really feel like that one, but I think today, since I wore that Monday, I'll wear this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I get up every morning and I don't know. Um, after I do meditation and I do my, stretches and things like that, then I will kind of stand in front of my closet. And essentially through that practice, though, even in my morning meditation, I will essentially download how it is that I want to represent that day. And then, sometimes maybe it's just a flash of color. Maybe I'll get a complete, picture of what that's going to look like. And then, then I go to my closet or into my room and I start gathering the pieces that are going to be able to make that happen. It's like a big, I have a little bitty closet, which is funny because I have so much stuff, but I have several different trunks that I have, and one trunk's full of hair and head wraps and different things like that, and one trunk's full of accessories, different headpieces and things like that, or things to make headpieces, you know. And
Right.
then and I've been doing it for so long that it doesn't take me any longer, like this today, 10 minutes. It doesn't take me any longer than it does anybody else to do what I do. And at first it did, of course, but now
Right.
it doesn't, and it's like anything else. When we start actually practicing it, when we start doing it, then we realize, and it doesn't take very, long, that you kind of master what it is that you're doing. And then it doesn't take very long. I don't think that I don't know that I could ever lay it out the night before. Because when I do that, I have tried, right? Then I'm like, no, that's not what that's not what
Yeah.
I
It almost always, except for flying. If I'm going on a trip, then I can be pretty close to what it's going to be, and it's like that's not going to change. But everything else, the sky's the limit.
Yes, that's what
It's
I love that you said that about traveling because that's the only time that I have things that are preemptively picked out. And at the same time, not really. What that is, I have mastered the art of packing geniusly to where I still have options. Because if I don't, it's like short circuits me. I'm like, wait, what? I don't have options, but that's not what I feel like today. I don't want to wear that. I don't want to wear any of this, you know?
and that's exactly what that trip was like for us when
Oh my God, yes.
CJ and I are kind of going, okay, this is what we get. This is what we got to pack. And the first thing is like, okay, we'll start with the shoes because they're going to take up the most space. Then we'll work
Yes.
around from there.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love it.
But
Love it.
it's so important. I mean, even as part of the branding, it's so important to be your authentic self in whatever it is you're doing. I'm I'm supposed to present. I'm supposed to be on a panel, I think it is, at a women's conference next month. And so now going through my head, it's like, okay, what are you going to wear? And when I think about what I see as I go around in some of the events I've been at, what everybody else is wearing, it's like, are you going to devolve to what everybody else wears? Or are you going to stick to your guns, and if you feel like the maxi dress that day, it's the maxi dress. If it's feeling cold, if it's this dress, then it's this dress. But don't let the other people's perceived views impact you,
Yeah,
because then it messes
absolutely.
up your brand.
It absolutely does, and what it really is doing is messing, it's messing with you. It's you that's gonna show up less of an authority. It's you that's gonna show up a little bit quieter versus a little bit more believable. Because there's a difference between being able to stand, of course, confidently on your dime, and then or not so confidently on your dime. There's a huge difference, and you can see and feel that. And there's no way, sometimes we like to convince ourselves that, well, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know. But everybody knows, right? Like,
Yeah.
let's just be honest. Everybody knows, because on an energetic level, you can't hide that. You can't. And so I think that one thing that I love, and I always say that, because I've heard that too. Well, if you were going to, meet with the president or the Queen of England or whatever, and I always stop them before, yes, this is exactly how I'm going to show up. Right. When I apply for a TED Talk, I'll probably not get it. But if I do, they're going to know that this is how I'm going to show up, because it's how I'm going to present from the get-go, right? with my with my bio, with my picture, all of those things, because I am my brand, and my brand is me. And I think that that's a really great place to start for people that want to be that's more authentic. And just know that, like, it's like anything else. The more authentic you are, the more authenticity there is to have, right? So it's like a work, like anything else. And you can spend the rest of your life growing into your authenticity, and still have authenticity to grow into, right? And so, but one way that you can do that is, ask yourself, how would you show up? If you're When you're showing up, do you show up differently? I think I saw earlier, yeah, Jackie, she said, I'm more focused wearing certain clothes compared to others. Oh, I see what you were saying there. But a lot of times, like, even I was talking about, if we're going to be doing something special, right? We save
Right.
things for those. And take a look at that, and kind of question that, how would you show up differently for certain things? And if you're wanting to show up more authentically, really, you go look at the special things that you got for special occasions, or that you have that you only wear for special occasions, right? And that'll tell you a lot about yourself, as far as how you really feel the most confident, the most beautiful, the most empowered. All of those things are in the fabric of that fabric. Literally, that's the tapestry of your story, is in the threads of that garment or the shoe or whatever it may be. And start looking at those things, and if you're wanting to step into that type of authenticity, start wearing it. Start getting it out and wearing it on a Sunday. And if you're going to go do the dishes, well, then get you some aprons, honey. They work great, and you can still, right? And it's a way of teaching ourselves that it can be, that we can show up how exactly we want, no matter what it is that we're doing, for one. And for two, that, it is okay to feel your absolute best, even if all you're doing is dishes, clothes, taking care of the children. Let's take care of our children in our most best and highest confident way, so that they can grow up and be their best confident, um, you know, self also, because it's going to get them to places that's going to increase the generational impact that you have. I don't care if
Right.
you have a, business or not. You have impact and legacy as your birthright, and you're creating impact and legacy. Let's be conscious about the impact and the legacy that we're building and that we're creating. And let's do that in a really, really big way. Let's make it, we don't have to reinvent the wheel because it's already been made, but let's make it bigger. Let's let it go farther. Let's let the wheel have the tread that it needs to get through the gray areas of life, really, right? Let's have, look at this beautiful place that we're in right now, and this beautiful project that we're a part of is literally giving people a manual. A manual. We all grew up saying, I wish there was a manual for this. I wish there was a manual for this or that, or I wish there was a manual for motherhood. And this particular manual, I love it that it's a manual. And I think that it's all inclusive because of the different beautiful souls that are all a part of this project. We
Right.
all, of course, bring something different to the table, but as a whole, I think that I feel like it would be a hard press to have something that you are feeling or experiencing and not be able to find inspiration for it inside of this book.
Well, and you talk about the everybody who is like, I wish there was a manual for. Nobody would be able to read those manuals because they would be too big. They would be bigger than a set of encyclopedias for
Yes.
each one,
Yes.
because each of us is so unique. That's the beauty of this particular anthology. Just like you said, individual authors, individual stories, they're going to touch individuals of a wide variety.
Yeah.
Because each one goes through something different.
Yeah, it is. And even of a different age, you know, even as you're reading it through each story, you're going to be able to relate to each story for different ages throughout your own lifetime as you've been growing. Yep. Or maybe you'll recognize it as you're going on and maturing that, oh, I read this story one time and it stuck with me then, but now I really get it, right? Now it's really integrated because I'm going through it myself, or because the the meaning of it is something that's really important and critical to me. So I love it. I'm so honored to have come into this project and to meet everyone and get to connect with everyone. And we haven't even heard everyone's story yet. In fact, I haven't really heard hardly anyone's, maybe one or two. And so, what I've said is intuitive, but I do know it to be true. Right. And so I think that's another thing that we can do as especially entrepreneurs is lean into our intuitiveness. And this is a gift that women are more innately open to, and that's because it's a little bit more acceptable. So it's something that we're not, like, men obviously have intuitiveness, but as growing up, it's something that's kind of pushed down, right? Because it's considered to be feminine. And so I think that's something that's really beautiful, and it's something that I see we see and we know that that's something that's called for in business. And so I love to work with men too in their branding to show them that they can bring in the energy of the femininity, the energy of the creativeness, the imaginative pieces, and still 100% be just as manly as, they may want to be or not be, right? And so, but I love that. I think that's another reason that I do love branding so much, is because, God, there's nothing that I can't bring back that I'm like, that's why I do branding. That's why I do branding, because it gives you the opportunity to touch in on all of those areas. And at the end of the day, I know I've talked a lot about, fashion and from the outside in, and I want to take a moment just to talk about from the inside out, because really the importance of all of this is that we take the opportunity that we have as humans right now living on this planet to evolve and to leave the planet in a better place. Everyone that we come in contact with every day, we have an opportunity to show them love, to show them empathy and compassion, and to let them be seen and let them be heard. And that's what we're here for. And I think that it's just such a beautiful part of the creation right now, is creating those ethos systems, which is communities that are full of, you know, all of those things, and give everyone a place of diversity and acceptance. And that's really what it's about at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, it's, I mean, so much just in that.
Yes, I am. I'm trying to find something, if I can. I know there's only like 5 minutes left, but it just came to my memory that I wrote, and it's Valentine's Day, and it's specifically about, you know, the deep, deep kind of love. So I was trying to see if I can find that really quickly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've had so many show up, including
Dr.
Sister
Nia, yeah.
CJ.
There's CJ, yeah.
Is here now. So yeah, it's just been a great conversation, and like I said when it was before we started, when I was talking to you in the back room, it's like I never know where it's gonna go. It just I couldn't have really imagined that we'd have so much focus on outfits, yet it is such an important aspect of how we feel and where our energy really comes from. Because you talk about outside the in. Well, in many ways, I see that as being what we're wearing is going to impact from the outside in,
It
so
absolutely
that
is.
we can be our authentic selves
Absolutely.
and then let that explode from the inside out.
It absolutely is, and I love that, because that's the understanding about it that is a really beautiful understanding to have. Um, I did find what I was looking for. Would you mind if I shared
Yeah,
it?
right after you see what CJ wrote.
I saw that she says that I need to borrow that hair, please. Well, girl, you can come get it. It's easy to do. I'll show you how. So, because it's Valentine's Day, right? And we're here for deep conversation. And so I want to share this, because this is this is about love, but it's about real love and what our real experience of it can be. So if you all just let me take you deep for just a moment. Okay. So there are many types of loves and many types of lovers. Whatever love you have to give, whatever love you need to receive, it is out there. It is always pursuing you. It is always presenting itself. It's not always wrapped in rainbows and butterflies, and it doesn't always carry the perfume of a sweet desert flower. It's not always carried in protection and strength. Sometimes it's hidden under the sweat and decay of a homeless man with a toothless grin. Sometimes it is locked away in the heart of an overprotective mother whose first was stillborn. Buried deep within a hard working father whose failures smell like alcohol. Sometimes, like a precious rose, it's barbed wired in thorns. Beloved empath, find your courage. Stand in love and acceptance, and don't bury your head or close off your heart from the hurting as you walk by. Your smile is magic. It lights up a room. It lights up a heart. It heals the wounded. It says, I see you, sister. I see you, brother. You are worthy. and you are loved. And in return, you just may receive the most precious gift of all, an act of surrender, of acceptance in return. Perhaps your love is the love that is pulsating with such electricity that it melts down all guards, all behaviors. Use your vision to look beneath, and use your love to manifest another's love and perfection. And that means showing up as your best and highest. And so I'll leave you with that thought. Are you showing up as your best and highest? And I know that you all are. So thank you.
That is a beautiful way to end everything, especially on today.
Yeah.
Because it just, there's not a whole lot to say beyond that. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me share.
Oh, absolutely. That's what this is for, because we're each unique. We each have something different that is our own to share, and somebody had to hear it.
Yeah, I think so too.
And the beauty of it is we never have to know who needed to hear it. They never have to tell us, but they get it.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
It is. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me, having me. It's been so much fun. I love all of you that are seeing this. I love all of you. And just allow yourself to know that and to feel that love today, whenever it may be that you're seeing this.
And there's who needed it.
Yep. Well, I love you. I love you, Dr. C, so much. And the beautiful work that you're doing and the beautiful work that everyone is doing. It's a beautiful thing to be a part of. And let's just keep doing it, right? Let's just keep growing and doing more of it.
That's the whole intent. More's coming. We'll get through this. We'll finish this book, and there's going to be more.
Yes.
And so many different ideas, so many different things that need to be out there. And this is the way to do it.
It is. Absolutely is.
And so with that, I will say thank you, everybody, for coming. Hope you all have a beautiful Valentine's Day. And yes, poor sis and homework.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta be careful. When you see her say homework, it could be that she has homework,
or she's fixing to give it.
Give us homework.
Yes.
That's one of those words that you never quite know what it's going to ultimately mean.
Well, I'm open if you need some support with anything. So you can send me homework, and
but
I'll get back to it.
It's been a beautiful day and a beautiful chat, and I'm so glad we got to chat.
Yes, thank you.
It was fun, and even the aspect of we were both in the same state at the same time at one point.
Yes. Yeah, I love it. Love it.
Because I've been here since the end of 79. So.
And I was born in 78. So.
That would be the same as my youngest brother. He was born in 78. So he is a horse in the Chinese zodiac.
Yes. Yep. Me too.
Whereas I get to be the snake.
Ooh, I love snake medicine. It's and some of the most powerful in the world.
That would be next year's the year of the snake.
Yes.
Dragon this year.
Yeah.
Little dragon next year.
Yep. Love it. Love it so
All
much.
right. So thank you, everybody. It was wonderful. And I will see you right now. It looks like I will have somebody on Friday. We're just getting it finalized over the next 6 weeks through the end of next month. I've got 2 shows a week because we got all these wonderful authors, and for many of them, this is an opportunity for me to just bring everybody on. So it's like, I know Jackie's on a Friday in a couple of weeks. It's great. I love having everybody on, and I love first conversations.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much.
So I will see everybody. We'll see you all next time. Bye.